Do you ever wonder why you were the one who had to go through so much pain? Why the people who were supposed to love and support you only drained your energy, made you question your worth, and tried to break your spirit? Let me tell you something powerful. You weren't weak. You were chosen. Narcissists don't pick just anyone. They go after the strong ones, the ones with light, the ones who have something special inside them. They saw your power before you even knew it was there. That's why they tried to control you, manipulate you, and make you doubt yourself. But guess what? They failed, because you're here, stronger than ever, rising from the ashes like a phoenix. And now, it's your time. Your time to heal. Your time to shine. Your time to step into the unstoppable power that has always been inside you. This journey isn't easy, but you're not alone. We're building a community of warriors, survivors who turn their pain into strength, who refuse to be victims, and who are ready to live their best lives. So, show some love, drop a comment, and stay with me till the end, because what I'm about to share will change the way you see yourself forever. Are you ready to reclaim your power? Let's do this together. There was a time when everything felt heavy. The people you trusted the most were the ones who hurt you the deepest. They drained your energy, made you feel small, and twisted your mind until you doubted your own thoughts. You felt trapped, confused, and lost in a world that no longer felt safe. At first, you tried to fix things. You thought if you were kinder, more patient, or more understanding, they would change. But no matter what you did, it was never enough. The more you gave, the more they took. The more you tried to be strong, the more they made you feel weak. Slowly, the light inside you started to fade. You became a shadow of yourself. But something inside you refused to die. Maybe it was just a small voice at first, whispering that this wasn't normal, that you deserved better, that the pain wasn't your fault. That voice grew stronger every time you cried yourself to sleep, every time you felt unseen, unheard, and unloved. And then one day, something clicked. You saw the truth. The truth that their words were never about you. Their cruelty was never a reflection of your worth. It was a reflection of their emptiness. They needed to break you so they could feel powerful. But they didn't realize one thing: you were never meant to stay broken. This was your transformation. Like a seed buried deep underground, you were in the darkness, but you were growing. The pain forced you to see what you could no longer ignore. It woke you up. It made you stronger. And now, as you rise, you are no longer the person they tried to destroy. You are wiser. You are unshakable. You are unstoppable. This was never the end of your story. It was only the beginning. For so long, they made you believe they were in control. Every word they spoke, every action they took, was designed to keep you trapped in their world. They wanted you to feel small, to doubt yourself, to depend on them for approval. Every time you tried to stand up for yourself, they twisted the truth, made you feel guilty, and pulled you back into their web. But their power was never real. It was an illusion built on manipulation and fear. They needed you to believe in it because, without your belief, their control was worthless. They weren't powerful. They were just good at playing mind games. And for a while you didn't see it. You trusted them. You thought their love was real. Their words were true. You ignored the red flags because you wanted to believe they cared. Then something changed. Maybe it was a moment of clarity. Maybe it was a pattern you couldn't unsee anymore. Maybe it was the way they lied with a straight face, or how they never took responsibility for their actions. Whatever it was, you saw through them. You saw the mask slip, and in that instant their power over you began to crumble. They could no longer confuse you. They could no longer make you feel worthless, because you realized the truth. They were never as powerful as they pretended to be. It was you who had the strength all along, and that terrified them. The moment you stopped believing in their lies, they lost their grip on you. The moment you decided to walk away, their illusion shattered completely. They may have fooled you once, but never again. Now you stand in your own power, unshaken, unafraid, free. There was a time when you felt powerless, trapped in a cycle of pain and confusion. You questioned yourself every day. Was it really that bad? Was it my fault? Am I just too sensitive? They had trained you to doubt your own reality, to believe that their twisted version of the truth was the only one that mattered. But then, something shifted. Maybe it was a small moment, just a flicker of realization. Maybe it was a conversation that didn't sit right, a lie that was too obvious to ignore, or the way they reacted when you finally spoke up for yourself. Or maybe it was the exhaustion of carrying their weight for so long, the deep, unshakable feeling that something wasn't right. And then it hit you. It was never about you being weak. It was never about you not being enough. It was about them keeping you asleep, keeping you from seeing your own power. That moment changed everything. You started looking at things differently. Their insults no longer cut as deep. Their manipulation no longer confused you. You saw through their tactics, their fake apologies, their endless cycles of blame. You woke up. And when you woke up, you stopped playing their game. You stopped chasing their approval. You stopped explaining yourself to people who had no interest in understanding you. You stopped accepting the bare minimum and calling it love. And that's when their grip on you began to loosen. They lost control the moment you saw the truth. This awakening wasn't easy. It hurt. It felt like breaking apart and putting yourself back together, piece by piece. But as the fog cleared, something incredible happened. You felt lighter, freer, stronger. You were never weak. You were waking up. And now you are unstoppable. For so long, they had you tangled in their web. Every lie they told, every excuse they made, every moment they twisted reality, it was all meant to keep you trapped. They wanted you to second-guess yourself, to feel lost without them, to believe that leaving was impossible. But then you did the unthinkable. You walked away. Maybe it wasn't dramatic. Maybe it was just a quiet decision in your heart. Enough is enough. Maybe it took time, step by step, reclaiming pieces of yourself they tried to erase. Or maybe you woke up one day and realized that staying was no longer an option. That moment changed everything, because walking away wasn't just about leaving them. It was about choosing yourself. Choosing truth over lies, choosing peace over chaos, choosing freedom over fear. They told you that you couldn't survive without them, that no one else would love you, that you were too broken, too difficult, too much. But those were just chains they used to keep you small, and you shattered them. It wasn't easy. The guilt tried to pull you back. The doubt whispered in your ear, but deep down you knew you were finally stepping into your own power. And now, you are free. Free to heal. Free to grow. Free to live the life they never wanted you to have. That first step away was more than just an escape. It was your first act of true power. And now there's no turning back. It was never because you were weak. It was never because you were easy to manipulate. The truth is, narcissists don't go after weak people. They don't waste their time on those with nothing to offer. They seek out the strong, the gifted, the ones with a radiant soul, because your light threatens their darkness. They saw something in you from the very beginning. Maybe it was your kindness, your empathy, your ability to love deeply. Maybe it was your intelligence, your creativity, or the way you effortlessly drew people towards you. They recognized your power before you did, and that terrified them. So what did they do? They tried to dim your light. At first, they made you feel special. They showered you with praise, told you exactly what you wanted to hear, made you believe they were different. But slowly, the shift began. The backhanded comments, the silent treatments, the mind games designed to break your spirit, not because you were weak, but because you were strong. They knew they couldn't match your light, so they tried to control it, to make you doubt yourself, to drain you until you no longer saw your own worth. Because if you ever realized how powerful you truly are, they would lose everything. But here's the truth. They failed. You are waking up now. You are reclaiming your strength. The fire they tried to extinguish is burning brighter than ever. They targeted you because you are rare, because you are powerful. And now you finally see it. There are scars that don't show on the surface, wounds that go unnoticed by the world. They can't be seen by the naked eye, but they run deep inside, hidden in the corners of your mind and soul. These are the scars that were left when you endured narcissistic abuse, the ones no one saw, and the ones that, for a long time, you didn't even fully understand yourself. The battle you fought wasn't loud. It wasn't visible to anyone on the outside. It was quiet, internal, and it stretched on longer than anyone could imagine. Each day you faced the subtle manipulation, the cruel gaslighting, the moments of doubt they planted in your mind. They made you feel like you were crazy, like your emotions were invalid, like your thoughts were wrong. On the outside, everything seemed fine. You went through the motions, smiling when you had to, pretending when you needed to, hiding the storm inside. Inside, you were at war. You were fighting against their lies. They told you that you were too sensitive, too dramatic, too weak. They made you question every decision, every word you said, every feeling you had. You began to wonder if you were really the problem, if their hurtful actions were justified, or if you were simply imagining the pain they caused. You were fighting against your own doubt, the constant self-questioning, the moments of disbelief, the struggle to hold on to who you really were. You fought to remember that you had value, that you deserved love and respect, that your thoughts and feelings were real. But with each attack, it felt harder and harder to hold on to that truth. You were fighting against isolation. They made sure you felt alone, cut off from friends, from family, from anyone who could see the truth. They slowly chipped away at your support system, creating doubt in others' minds and turning them against you. And when they couldn't convince them, they worked harder to convince you that no one would ever believe you. No one saw the weight you carried. No one saw the sleepless nights spent wondering what was wrong with you, questioning your own sanity, and feeling like you were stuck in a never-ending cycle. No one saw the mental and emotional exhaustion that wore you down day after day. But despite all of this, you fought. You fought when you felt like giving up. You fought when it felt like no one cared, when they made you feel like your struggles weren't valid. You fought because deep down, you knew you deserved better. You knew you weren't crazy. You knew you had strength inside you, even if it felt hidden beneath layers of doubt and fear. And one day, that strength began to rise to the surface. You started to see the truth for what it was. You started to recognize the patterns, the lies, and the manipulations for what they were. You stopped questioning yourself and began to trust your instincts again. You stopped accepting their treatment as normal, and you realized you didn't deserve any of it. That silent battle, the one no one saw, made you stronger than you ever imagined. You learned resilience, patience, and courage in the face of adversity. You learned to trust yourself again, to stand tall, even when the world tried to tear you down. And now, you are unbreakable. The invisible scars may still be there, but they are a testament to the strength and wisdom you gained through surviving this battle. They are the marks of a warrior who refused to be defeated. Narcissists are masters at creating illusions. They build their world on control, manipulation, and fear. But there's one thing they fear most: your strength. They live in a world where power comes from dominating others, from making you believe that you're nothing without them. They need you to feel weak, to doubt your worth, and to depend on them for validation. The moment you see through their lies, their entire world starts to crumble. So, what do they fear the most? They fear your strength. Your inner power has always been there, even if you didn't realize it. It's not the kind of strength they could ever control. It's not about being physically strong or having a loud presence. It's the quiet resilience within you that can't be broken, no matter how hard they tried. They fear that one day you'll remember that power, that you'll tap into it, trust it, and let it guide you toward freedom. But there's more. They also fear your healing. After all the hurt and the damage they caused, they know that if you heal, you'll be unstoppable. They understand that healing is a process of reclaiming your true self, the person they worked so hard to erase. As you heal, you get stronger, and with each step forward, their grip on you loosens. The moment you begin to find peace and happiness outside of their control, they lose their hold. That's terrifying to them. But there's one more thing they fear: the day you wake up and realize you never needed them. For so long, they convinced you that you couldn't survive without them, that no one else would ever love you the way they did, that you'd never be complete without them. They wanted you to believe you were nothing without them, that your life would fall apart without their constant approval. But deep down, you always knew the truth. You don't need them. That's the moment they fear most. The day you wake up and realize that you have everything inside you to thrive, to heal, and to build a life far greater than they could ever offer. The day you realize that you were never the problem they were, your strength, your healing, your awakening, it's everything they never wanted you to know. And it's why they're terrified of you discovering it. Because once you do, they lose their power over you forever. And that is a fear they can't escape. When everything around you seemed to fall apart, when you felt like you had nothing left, it was like the world had stripped you down to the bare bones. The pain, the loss, the endless cycle of being torn apart. It felt like it was the end. But what they didn't know, what you couldn't see at the time, was that this was only the beginning of something far greater. Like a phoenix, you didn't just survive, you burned. You faced the depths of your darkest moments, the kind of pain that felt like it would swallow you whole. You lost parts of yourself along the way, but in that destruction something incredible happened. The pieces that once felt broken and lost began to transform. In the ashes, you found the beginnings of your rebirth. The healing wasn't instant, it never is. But little by little, you started to piece yourself back together. You took what remained of you, what felt shattered and fragile, and you used it as the foundation for something stronger. You no longer let the past define you. Instead, you allowed it to shape you into someone who couldn't just be broken. You rose higher. Each day, you grew stronger than the day before. The things that once hurt you, the lies, the manipulation, the cruelty, they no longer had a hold on you. With each step forward, you became more and more of who you were always meant to be. You learned to trust yourself again. You learned to set boundaries. You learned that you had the strength to walk away from what didn't serve you, to let go of the things that held you down. Stronger, yes, but also wiser. You began to understand what you had to endure. You saw the lessons that only came through surviving the storm. You recognized the signs you missed before, the red flags you ignored, and the patterns that made you feel less than who you are. And now you carry that wisdom like armor. It's the shield that protects you from anyone or anything that tries to tear you down. You are no longer the person you were before. You are a new version of yourself, one that has faced the worst but didn't break. You are the person who has learned to rise from the ashes, stronger, wiser, and more powerful than ever before. This is your true power. This is who you were always meant to be, the phoenix that refuses to be burned. There was a time when the pain seemed unbearable. Each wound they inflicted felt like it was going to break you, and each betrayal left a scar that seemed impossible to heal. You wondered how you would ever move past it, how you could possibly find peace after everything they put you through. But what you didn't realize then was that this pain, these wounds, were not the end of your story. They were the beginning of something far greater. Each time they hurt you, they were unwittingly teaching you a powerful lesson. Every cruel word, every manipulative gesture, every moment of betrayal was like a hammer shaping the raw material of your spirit. The more they tried to tear you down, the stronger you became. With each wound, you learned to protect yourself. With each betrayal, you learned to trust yourself more deeply. Every wound became a lesson. The pain they caused didn't break you, it forged you. You learned about your own resilience, about your ability to endure, to bounce back, even when you thought you couldn't go on. You learned to recognize what you deserve and what you don't. You began to understand that you don't have to tolerate abuse in any form, that your worth isn't defined by someone else's attempt to diminish you. Every betrayal became wisdom. The lies they told, the promises they broke, the trust they shattered, these were the lessons that taught you to see people for who they truly are, not for who you hoped they would be. You learned to trust your instincts, to see through the masks people wear, and to protect your energy from those who seek to take advantage of your kindness. With each betrayal, you grew wiser and you began to recognize your own worth more clearly. And now, nothing can shake you. The pain, once a source of weakness, is now your greatest strength. You carry it with you, not as a reminder of what you've lost, but as a badge of honor that shows you are unbreakable. The lessons you've learned and the wisdom you've gained have turned you into someone who cannot be torn down. Your power comes from within, and no one can ever take that away from you again. The scars they left behind no longer define you. They are proof of your survival, your growth, and your unwavering strength. You've turned your pain into your superpower. You are unstoppable. When you survived narcissistic abuse, it wasn't just a battle you fought, it was a transformation. The person you were before the chaos, before the manipulation and heartbreak is gone. But in the most powerful, positive way, you'll never be the same again. You didn't just heal from what happened, you evolved. Healing might have started the process, but what came next was something far deeper. It's like you broke through the surface of the water and emerged as someone entirely new, someone who has shed the old skin that once held you back. With every lesson learned and every wound mended, you grew stronger, wiser, and more in tune with who you are meant to be. The things that once hurt you don't have the same hold anymore. The emotional chains are broken, and you're free to step into your power. You see the world differently now. Once, you may have been blinded by love, loyalty, or hope. You may have seen the world through a lens clouded by pain or confusion, but now you've gained clarity. The fog has lifted, and you can see things as they truly are. You understand your worth more clearly. You recognize red flags with ease. You see relationships and situations through a wiser, more discerning lens. This newfound vision changes how you approach life. It changes the decisions you make, the people you keep around you, and the path you choose to walk. You attract different energy. Before, you may have been surrounded by toxic people who fed off your kindness, your compassion, or your vulnerability, but now you exude a new energy. You've stepped into your true power, and it's magnetic. The more you shine, the more you attract those who align with your new frequency. People who respect your boundaries, who value your worth, and who support your growth begin to gravitate toward you. No longer will you tolerate negativity because you've learned to surround yourself with people who uplift you. You become untouchable. The strongest change is within you. You've built an inner strength that no one can break. The emotional manipulation, the gaslighting, the attempts to control you, they no longer have power over you. You are now untouchable because you've learned to protect yourself in ways you never could before. You've learned to trust your intuition, to set firm boundaries, and to stand in your truth. Your past cannot hurt you anymore, and your future is filled with limitless possibilities. You are different now, and that's the best thing that could have happened. You've evolved into someone powerful, unbreakable, and unstoppable. And you will never be the same again, in the best way possible. There's something incredibly powerful about realizing that your journey was never just a random series of events. The universe chose you. It wasn't by chance that you found yourself in the depths of narcissistic abuse. It wasn't an accident that you faced the pain, the manipulation, and the confusion. The truth is, you were chosen for this battle, this transformation, and the mission that lies ahead. You were never meant to remain a victim. Yes, you went through the unimaginable, and yes, it hurt. But that pain, that struggle, was never meant to be the end of your story. It was meant to shape you into someone who could break the cycle. You were chosen because of your strength, your resilience, and your unbreakable spirit. The universe saw something in you, a unique light, a fire within that could rise above the darkness and lead others out of it. You weren't just surviving, you were breaking generational chains. This wasn't just your personal battle. It was part of something much bigger. By surviving and rising above the abuse, you are breaking a cycle that has kept others trapped for far too long. You were called to be the one who ends it, to be the one who sets a new standard of strength, self-love, and wisdom. As you rise, you break the chains not only for yourself, but for everyone who comes after you, those who will learn from your example and be inspired by your strength. You were chosen to rise. What seemed like an endless struggle became your foundation for greatness. The very things that tried to tear you apart became the driving force that propelled you to new heights. The universe didn't put you through this to destroy you. It put you through it to mold you into someone who could not only survive, but thrive. And now you are called to lead others to freedom. Because of your journey, because of everything you've been through and overcome, you are now in a position to help others find their way out of the darkness. Your story isn't just your own, it's the story of anyone who has ever felt trapped, hopeless, or powerless. And as you continue to rise, others will look to you for strength. They'll look to you as proof that the cycle can be broken, that freedom is possible, and that they too can reclaim their lives. The universe chose you not because you were weak, but because you were strong enough to carry this mission. You were chosen to rise, break the cycle, and lead others to freedom. And that's exactly what you're doing. There's a moment in your journey, often unspoken and unnoticed by many, but it's the turning point, the instant when everything begins to change. It's the moment you realize, despite everything they did to you, you were never truly broken. They thought they had destroyed you. They thought that by chipping away at your confidence, manipulating your mind, and tearing you down piece by piece, They could mold you into someone who would forever feel small and insignificant. But what they didn't realize is that they were actually creating your strength. Their toxic influence, their endless gaslighting, their cruelty, it was all meant to shatter you, to bend your will to theirs. They wanted control, they wanted to feel superior. And at some point you may have felt like you were losing yourself. You may have felt as though you would never escape their grip. But deep inside, something was stirring. A part of you was quietly waiting for the moment when you would stand up, reclaim your power, and reveal to the world just how unstoppable you really are. That moment came when you woke up. It wasn't a single grand event, but rather a series of realizations that led you to this point. The veil was lifted. You started to see through the narcissist's manipulation, their empty promises, and their need to feed off your energy. You saw the truth for what it was. You saw that their strength was never real. It was all based on their ability to control and manipulate others. Their power was fragile, built on lies and deceit. And the moment you stepped away from them, the moment you realized your worth, their power over you crumbled. And that's when you became everything they feared. The narcissist's worst nightmare isn't someone who fights back necessarily. It's someone who walks away, someone who no longer needs their approval or their manipulation. It's someone who finally sees their own value and refuses to accept anything less than respect, love, and truth. You were never weak. You were never powerless. You were simply holding back your full potential, waiting for the right moment to emerge stronger than ever. That moment came when you realized that you are whole on your own. You are worthy on your own. You don't need their validation, their toxic love, or their emotional control. You are your own source of strength, and that realization is what shook them to the core. Narcissists thrive on control. They feed off your energy, your self-doubt, and your constant need for approval. When you stop seeking their validation, when you stop allowing them to dictate your worth, their world starts to fall apart. They never wanted you to find your power, because when you did, they would lose their grip. They never wanted you to realize that you are more than enough, that you are capable of achieving your dreams and living a life filled with peace and happiness. But now you know. Now you see. You've unlocked a part of yourself they could never have taken away. You've discovered the strength, resilience, and beauty that was always there, just waiting to be recognized. The narcissist feared you would become stronger than them. They feared you would rise above the manipulation and gaslighting, and that's exactly what you did. And now they can no longer control you. Their worst nightmare isn't a loud confrontation, a battle of wills. It's your silence. It's your freedom. It's your power. Because in the end, you don't need them. You never did. They may have tried to break you, but all they succeeded in doing was shaping you into something even greater than they could ever imagine. You are now the very thing they feared the most. A person who has awakened to their true potential, someone who cannot be controlled, someone who has stepped into their full power. You are no longer the victim. You are the survivor. You are the force they can never overcome. And that in itself is their worst nightmare. There's a certain clarity that comes with surviving narcissistic abuse. At first, you might have questioned your judgment, your feelings, or your ability to trust yourself. You may have found yourself second-guessing everything, wondering if the way you saw things was distorted by their manipulation. But as you walked away from their toxic grip, something incredible began to shift within you. Your intuition grew sharper. You were always intuitive, but now you've honed that ability to a fine edge. No one can deceive you anymore. The masks they wore, the lies they told, the falsehoods they used to control you, all of that became painfully obvious. You can see through the facade. You can feel when someone is being insincere. You can sense when the energy shifts and when the truth is being concealed. This newfound sharpness isn't just a fluke or a passing phase. It's a skill that's evolved from all you've been through. Every instance of manipulation, every moment of doubt, added layers to your ability to read people and situations. Where once you might have felt confused or disoriented, now you feel grounded and in control. The games they played are no longer a mystery to you. You know how they work, how they use charm to manipulate, or how they twist the truth to suit their narrative. And that knowledge, it gives you power. You've learned to trust yourself in ways you never thought possible. Before, you relied on their approval or validation. Now you know that the only that matters is your own. Your gut instincts guide you. When something feels off, you don't dismiss it anymore. You trust it. When someone's intentions are unclear, you don't need proof or excuses, you feel it. Your inner compass is now finely tuned to the energy around you, and it's become a tool you use to navigate through life. The narcissist's attempts to make you doubt yourself, to undermine your self-confidence, only fueled the awakening of your inner wisdom. They thought they could break your trust in your own instincts, but instead, they set the stage for you to become a more powerful, intuitive being. Now you know your worth. You understand that your feelings, your thoughts, and your experiences are valid, and no one can make you question that again. Every day, your intuition grows stronger. Whether it's in personal relationships, work situations, or your own personal journey, you trust yourself more than ever before. You read energy, you sense lies, you know when someone's intentions are pure and when they are cloaked in deception. The power to protect your peace, your energy, and your heart is in your hands, and it's all thanks to the lessons you learned during your healing process. Now, when you walk into a room, you can feel the atmosphere. You can sense the energy of the people around you. And when something feels wrong, you don't hesitate to step away. You trust yourself implicitly, knowing that your inner voice is a guide you can rely on. No longer will you let anyone manipulate or gaslight you. No longer will you doubt your own perception of reality. You've become unshakable. Your intuition is your superpower. And with this newfound ability, you're not just surviving, you're thriving. Because when you trust yourself, when you can read the energy around you and know who to trust and who to let go, you've unlocked a strength no one can take away. Your intuition is sharper than ever before, and it will continue to guide you as you step into the next chapter of your life. There's something incredibly powerful that happens when you heal from narcissistic abuse. It's not just a transformation of your mind or heart, but a complete shift in your energy. For so long, you may have found yourself surrounded by people who drained you, used you, or didn't truly appreciate your worth. But once you let go of those toxic influences and started trusting yourself again, something changed. You began to vibrate at a different frequency. It's as if a weight was lifted, and the moment you started to heal, your energy started to shift. The things that once attracted you to unhealthy relationships no longer held any power over you. The patterns of being drawn to people who mirrored the narcissist's behavior started to fade away. Instead, your energy began to align with the kind of people you truly deserve, those who can see you for who you really are. You've stopped tolerating toxicity. You've stopped making excuses for people who don't treat you right. You've started setting boundaries that protect your peace, and because of this, you're now in a position to attract genuine souls, people who see your worth, who respect you, and who understand your value without the need for constant validation. At first, this shift may feel strange. It may feel like a lonely path, but it's important to remember that the right people will always find their way to you. When you stop settling for less, when you stop accepting the crumbs others throw at you, you create space for real connections, the type of relationships that nourish your soul, challenge you to grow, and support you on your journey to becoming the best version of yourself. This energy shift is magnetic. Those who once tried to take advantage of your kindness or manipulate you will start to fade away, and in their place will come people who match your new energy. There'll be people who are emotionally mature, who can love you without trying to control you, and who appreciate the depth of your being. They'll see the strength you've gained, the wisdom you carry, and the love you offer, and they'll want to be part of that light. The more you embrace your power, the more you surround yourself with those who empower you. You're no longer in a space where you tolerate negativity, and as a result, you naturally repel it. You'll attract people who are kind, who genuinely care for you, and who value your energy. These will be the people who make you feel seen, heard, and understood. And the best part? You'll begin to realize that this is the life you've always deserved. The people you attract now will be your tribe, people who support you, uplift you, and encourage you to rise higher. Your energy has shifted, and with it, your circle of people will reflect that change. You're no longer stuck in cycles of toxicity. You've cleared the path for the right people to walk beside you. And as your energy continues to radiate the strength and healing you've cultivated, you'll find yourself surrounded by the genuine souls you've always needed. There's something undeniably powerful about surviving the worst of what life throws at you. You've faced the darkness, the manipulation, the isolation, and yet you're still here, stronger than ever before. You survived what was meant to break you, and that survival didn't just get you through the storm, it reshaped you. It transformed you into someone who can no longer be stopped. For so long, you may have felt like a victim, like your pain defined you. You may have questioned your worth, your strength, and your place in this world. But through every battle, through every tear, through every setback, you were growing stronger, even when you couldn't see it. Now, as you look back, you realize something incredible. The very things that tried to destroy you are the things that built your foundation. And now that foundation is unshakable. What others didn't see, the countless silent battles, the courage it took to keep going, the moments when you felt like giving up but chose not to, these are the things that fueled your transformation. You didn't just survive, you became a force. Every experience, no matter how painful, became a lesson in resilience, wisdom, and inner strength. The narcissist, the toxic people, and the challenges they threw at you were meant to break you, to make you doubt yourself, to make you believe you weren't enough. But they didn't succeed. Instead, you used those trials as stepping stones. You learned to trust yourself, to protect your peace, and to recognize your worth. And now you're stepping into your highest destiny. Nothing in this world can stop you from becoming who you were always meant to be. The same power that kept you alive through the darkest days is the same power that will propel you toward the life you've always dreamed of. You've unlocked your true potential, and you're ready to claim the future you deserve. You've realized that you are unstoppable. The pain, the struggle, the scars, they no longer define you. They are part of your story, yes, but they are not your story's ending. Your story is one of strength, resilience, and transformation. Now you are free to rise, not just to survive, but to thrive. You are a force of nature, unbreakable and unstoppable. The world will never be the same once you step into your full power, and neither will you. You are unstoppable, and your journey toward your highest destiny has only just begun. You have walked through fire and emerged stronger than ever. The pain, the manipulation, the self-doubt, they were all meant to break you. but instead they forged you into something unshakable. You didn't just survive narcissistic abuse, you transformed, you awakened, and now you rise with a power that nothing and no one can take from you. There was a time when you questioned your worth, when their words made you doubt yourself, when their control made you feel powerless. But that version of you no longer exists. You see things clearly now. You understand the games they played, the illusions they created, and the fears that drove them. Narcissists don't seek out weak people. They seek out those with light, those with strength, those who have something special inside them. That's why they targeted you, because your soul shines too brightly for them to ignore. But their illusion of power has crumbled. You are no longer bound by their lies. You no longer seek their validation. You have reclaimed your mind, your heart, and your destiny. And in doing so, you have unlocked a strength that even you may not have fully realized yet. The battles you fought in silence have given you wisdom. The pain you endured has given you depth. The betrayal you suffered has taught you discernment. Now, you no longer attract toxicity. You attract truth, authenticity, and people who genuinely see your worth. This is your moment. You are not just a survivor, you are a warrior, a force, an unstoppable presence in this world. Your journey was never about destruction, it was about transformation. And now you step forward not as a victim of the past, but as a beacon of strength for the future. The world hasn't seen the full extent of your power yet, but it will. Every painful experience has become a lesson. Every betrayal has sharpened your intuition. Every tear shed has washed away the illusion that you were anything less than powerful. The person they tried to break no longer exists. In their place stands someone who cannot be manipulated, who no longer tolerates toxicity, and who has reclaimed their identity with unshakable confidence. And now the universe is aligning in your favor. The energy you once gave to the wrong people is now fueling your growth, your success, and your happiness. The connections you once fought to keep no longer hold power over you,